James, great to see you. You're CFO at Abingworth.
Yes.
One of the topics that we're discussing is how has the CFO role changed in fundraising? Mm-hmm. How have you seen that change and that evolution in the years you've been in private equity?
Well, I think, I've been in the industry since '98 and raised several funds with Abingworth during that time. I think the core of the role hasn't actually changed that much over that time. The CFO, I think, has always been sort of pretty central to the fundraising process. I think what has changed is the level of detail and depth of information that investors expect you to produce. So much more digging into performance, more digging into operational aspects. So I think as a result of that, there's had to be a great deal more preparation ahead of the fundraising to really get all of the materials, in absolutely great condition. Because once the fundraising process has started, there just isn't time to go and backfill, do all of the due diligence questionnaires, the portfolio company write-ups, and all of these other things. So I guess my sense would be, maybe 10-15 years ago you could do more of this on the fly and respond to questions as they came in. Now you're going to get the questions, they're going to be detailed, you have to have the information to hand.
Do you find then the market has really led that drive to transparency, or has regulation helped set the floor in where it should be?
I think it's probably a combination of both. I think we went into the 2000s on the back of really quite easy returns in venture in general and life science in the 90s, and the measure there was, has your fund returned? If it has, we'd like to go in. There wasn't so much questioning. Regulation will have been a factor, but I think LPs, pension funds, the big institutions have also changed their own governance processes. So the portfolio managers who come to us have to produce much more detailed reports, recommendations up to their advisory boards, and they're getting pressure on things like ESG, risk management coming down from their boards. So yes, the requirement for information is coming from a number of directions.
And do you find that continues post-close? So is a key factor in maintaining that relationship with investors, being responsive and proactive in terms of their requests?
Yes. I mean, clearly you have to produce the standard stuff on time, to a quality, and listen. Indeed invite feedback from LPs as to whether the reports that you're sending them are actually doing what they need. Very important to listen to that, and occasionally you get input which helps you. It is critical, I think, to be able to respond very quickly. So when an LP sends a question or calls me about something, to be able to get back to them quickly, obviously it helps them. But if you exceed their expectations there, then they just get the feeling that you're in control and on top of things. If you don't get back to them quickly, then they start to worry that maybe things aren't quite going well in the shop.
Do you find there's quite a diversity in LP requests from LP to LP, or are they all looking for the same things?
There are some LPs and some quite large LPs who will go from one quarter to the next without asking anything, and then there are other LPs, it's not necessarily correlated with size, but relatively small ones who make it their mission to just sort of collect a lot of data and information, and they'll be wanting to write a position paper on life sciences in their organisation, so they'll come and ask us a lot of questions about it. I don't get that many questions specifically on reporting, which I hope means that the reports have got what they need. You usually get a few queries coming back when you do distributions or capital calls because they want to know what it's about. But
well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you at the next Super Returns.
Thank you very much.